In this video, I'm going to show you how we are breaking down winning concepts and how you can do the same thing for your D2C e-commerce brand, which is essentially going to allow you to make ads that can tolerate 10,000 euros per day in ad spend. And you can do this on Autopilot. With that out of the way, then you can see here, these are some of the clients that we're working with. These are very, very recent screenshots. This is from today, and this over here is also from today. This is a client that we've been working with for the past 3 months. Here in the beginning, you can see here, their growth was super stagnated, and they were generating between 250 or 500 euros per day. At this point now, we've scaled them to almost 4,000 euros per day. Same thing for this client over here. This is just for the last 90 days as well. We've been working with them for longer. They came to us when they were generating 500 euros per day, and now we're hitting that 4,000 euros consistently per day. All of this is because of a winning formula for creating winning concepts inside their ad account. This is all based on meta ads results. The thing that we're looking at, or the KPIs that we're looking at when we're breaking down concepts, we have a weekly call in the team every Thursday. We have a video concept breakdown call, and we also have a static breakdown call. This video here is just going to focus on the videos and how we're breaking down those. But the concept is that we're essentially looking at the hook rate, we're looking at the hold rate, and the CTR. This is the three most important KPIs that we can control as marketers. Obviously, we can also look into the CPA and the ROAS, but these are all outcomes. This is more tied together to how strong the video concept is, if the angle is right and the messaging is correct. We obviously also look at the amount spent. We're not analyzing videos that don't have 3x AOV. A video concept must have spent at least 3 times its AOV in order to have meaningful data. I would even say 10x AOV is even better, and the more data you have, the better, obviously. But I have some videos here, and this is a screenshot taken inside one of our clients' ad accounts, and here you can see video plays, you can see hook rate, and you can see hold rate. This hold rate we are actually not utilizing. This is a hold rate that is showing you the percentage of people that have watched 3 seconds until the end. So this hold rate is always going to be very, very low, and not the hold rate that we are typically analyzing. The hold rate that we're analyzing instead is the percentage of impressions or video plays to 15 seconds or longer. Here, the benchmarks for a good hook rate is anything above 30% is considered good, anything below is considered poor, 40% is considered great, and 50% is considered excellent. For hold rate, when you're looking at the percentage of video plays to 15 seconds or longer, what you want to look for is anything above 12% is considered good, anything below 12% is considered poor. 15% and above is considered great, 20% is considered excellent. What we will always focus on is the first 25% of the video. That is where you have the most leverage with your video concepts. And if you are improving on the first 25% of the videos, you will generally see your videos start to perform better. It's typically not that much that are going to make an ad go from being able to spend 1K per day to make it go to 5K per day. Obviously, this is very, very dependent on also the market size that you're operating in. In Europe, typically, if you're advertising in Norway, Denmark, or Sweden, it's very low TAMs that you have to deal with. It's like 5 to 10 million people, right? But if you're doing this in Germany, it's I believe it's 70 or 80 million. So there's a lot more people to advertise to, and that's also going to dictate the amount of spend that your ads can obviously take. With that said, the way that we then start analyzing this is that we use Notion to, we have like pages in here in Notion, and then we just transcribe. And then everyone from the team are chipping in with observations to the KPIs, making observations to the hook rate, to the hold rate, to the CTR, CPA, and to the ROAS. And we're just doing that by playing the video over here and trying to understand the script at the same time. So we also have the script next to us so that we know exactly what's being said line for line and how the visual pairing is going well with that. That alone, when you start doing that and you start breaking down your content like that, and you're making iterations based on the observations that you're making, I'm telling you that you will see a whole new performance inside your ad account, because you've given yourself a feedback loop. Then we note down the iterations and the improvements that we want to make with the concept, and then everything is captured by AI as well. And I'm going to show you the system that we're then using to take the iterations and take the transcriptions that we have noted down and feed it to AI, and how it's then going to come up with new scripts and everything. Here I have an example where we have a video where we have a hook rate of 62%. right? This is a massive, massive, massive hook rate. So I wouldn't even touch upon the hook. What I would instead look at is the video or the clip after the hook. I would look at what is it that are then making people drop off after the hook, and how can we essentially improve the script in a way so that people are converting better. I would not really touch on videos that has anything above 40% in hook rate. Then there's not really that much room for improvement there. Instead, I would look at the hold rate and look at how can I make sure that the gap or the bridge from the hook to then the problem being magnified or the solution to being introduced, that becomes stronger so that more people end up further into the video. That is really where you have your greatest leverage as a marketer and as a creative strategist. Then in a bit I will show you how we turn those iterations and this transcript into new briefs. But firstly, I would just like to go through a few key takeaways to improve performance on your next video creatives. It's very important to understand that the script is what matters the most. The angle, the opening line, the line after the hook, those are the most important parts of the video. The next thing is the visual pairing. You can never make a winner if the visuals are like, let me be careful with what I say here, but a winning ad is always dictated by what is said and not necessarily by what is shown. Obviously, there can be specific cases where that is not true, but for the most part, the script is what matters the most, and next comes the visual. Second is that the hook is the king. If you have a hook rate of 25%, then I would always start improving the hook rate instead of looking at how could I retain people better. The hook rate is the most important part of the video, and once you get that right, then you can start looking at how can you retain the audience better. Third is authenticity beats perfection. So many advertisers are trying to make perfection from the beginning. But if you don't even have the angle or the use case right, then you're just trying to polish. Sorry for my language. You're trying to polish a shit. So instead, you want to try and make something that is authentic, make something that is not polished, make something that resonates with the audience because it feels natural and it feels native. That is typically going to perform a lot better. This right here is actually a mistake that a lot of founders are making, is that they get tired of saying the same thing over and over again. When you have found something that works, then what you want to do is you want to repeat the same message, but in improved versions, in different versions, in different settings, with different creators, with different callouts, with different visual pairings. You want to try and repeat the same message over and over again, but in different ways. Also, ad account performance is based on your entire content mix. This is actually very important to understand because some of your videos here could be performing better because you have another video in the ad account that are feeding the funnel. This whole concept is something that not a lot of advertisers are understand or heavily underestimate the importance of. When you have an ad in your top funnel that are bringing in a lot of new eyeballs to your ad account, what you will see is that all of the rest of your ads are going to start to perform better because they now have people to convert and they have people to target. That's also just a very important thing to understand when you are making videos and you're analyzing the performance of them, is you can not just look at one metric alone, because one of these videos here could be really, really, really crucial for the funnel and getting new people into your funnel, getting in front of new people. Things to also keep in mind here are something like impressions and reach and the frequency here. Are you getting in front of a lot of new people with your ads? Great. Down here, we have our briefing templates. And the reason why I want to show you those before I dive into how to take these transcriptions from the video breakdowns and turn them into new briefs is because when you are making briefs, you obviously want to make sure that you capture all of the data so that you can go back and backtrack and make sure that you are keeping data on all of the angles that are performing, all of the concept types that are performing, if it's iterations that are generally performing best, or if it's net new concepts that are performing best. You want to have as much data inside a system so that when you are making new content, you always have something to go off of. We use Notion, as I said, and this is how we have structured it. We always write an hypothesis to the concepts that we're making, and then we attach our customer track, which is essentially the persona that we're trying to target. We attach the use case, which is actually the most important part of the concept. I would love to make another video about this, why this is the most important part of the concept and not really the angle. Then we also have the angle, which is the emotion that we're trying to provoke in the concept as well. And there's all kinds of different properties here in regards to the briefing as well, like what funnel stage are we targeting, what theme are we making the ad in, the amount of variants that we're going to produce, and also the landing page. And just to show you, this is the briefing template that we're using, and this is going to go into the hook, the angle, the core message, the target emotion, the production approach, and the estimated length. The estimated length is actually not to underestimate. It's a very important part because we see it very often that brands are trying to make 2-minute long videos, 3-minute long videos, or videos are generally longer than they should be. If you haven't had videos that are performing short versions of videos, then for sure you're going to have a harder time producing concepts that are going to perform when they're longer. This comes down to the whole hook rate and hold rate thing. But here we mentioned the script and the storyboard. We have the hooks, and then we have the main script, and then we always have the English script and the localized script. We're producing content for brands that are in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Netherlands, Germany, and whatnot. These brands, they will obviously have a localized script here, and then also a visual pairing for the editor goes here. Nothing crazy in this part. That's not the point of this video. How do you turn observations into new briefs? Super simple. You run through Claude and you use their Opus model. We use the newest model, and I advise you to do the same. Then you feed Claude with your original script. You feed it with your briefing template, and you feed it with the transcription of the breakdown that you made, as well as the observations that you noted down. Then Claude has an amazing input on creating new concepts based on the original content or original script, and also the observations that you and your team did. Then step number 3, you paste it into Claude, and then you have like a super simple prompt. We also have other prompts for this, but just for the sake of demonstration, you can make something super brain dead and post it in here, and then it's going to give you a pretty qualified response in return. Here, the idea is that you get 3 new scripts with 3 new angles, 3 new use cases that you can use to make your winning concept into an iterated version. Here, for example, you can see concept 1 that is spit out was broken routine in motion. And this other concept was the outdoor cancel. And the third one was I don't have time for gym. So these are all 3 different concepts that you can then go ahead and start tweaking and ensuring that the messaging is 100% correct to the brand, and from there begin producing. What's very, very important is that you don't just take this output here and then you produce it. Then it's going to be shit. There's going to be different elements to this that Claude can just not have right when it's producing this. So this is where your eye for detail as a creative strategist really comes in. This is where you then have to tweak it in order to make it perfect. 80% of the results comes from 20% of the work. And what I mean by that is that it's typically just the angle and the use case. When you get this right here, these 2 things in your concepts, that's when you will start to see them perform a lot better. When your angle is correct and your use case is also correct, that's when you will see that your concepts are going to start ripping inside your ad account. Obviously, then you can really nerd down into what's being said phrase for phrase in your script, what's the visual pairing throughout the entire video and whatnot. If you have an ad account that doesn't have creatives that are tolerating 1,000 or 2,000 or even 3,000 euros in ad spend per day, then you typically have an angle and a use case problem, and not really a problem later within the script and whatnot. If you found this video to be valuable, you would like to see if we are fit to help your D2C brand scale, then you can click the link in the description to this video and book a call directly with me, where I will do a creative outmapping for you, where I will highlight the different content pieces that I see that you're missing and the different angles that you are missing in your current content mix in order to scale to 10,000 euros per day. If you found the video valuable as well, then go ahead and click the like button and subscribe. I hope you found it valuable, and I hope to see you soon. Have a nice day, and bye bye.